Okay, so for this video, we're going to be looking at some things that we did near the end of our trip and things that you don't necessarily stereotypically think of Nepal. With a lot of the tours we looked up, it was hike to Everest Base Camp, okay, fairly standard. Tours around Nepal, fairly standard. But the tour that we picked actually had whitewater rafting, 6 days of hiking in the Everest region, paragliding, jungle tour. It was really...
Canoe tour,
yeah.
Walking tour in the jungle.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
In the jungle. But here's the thing, okay? So after we got off the canoe, which by the way, we're going through crocodile infested waters, and you can see the crocodiles on the banks.
Yep.
And the people that were in our canoe, they were rocking back and forth, and I'm like, yo, dude, stop that. And I just kept watching the water levels come up and up close to the top of the canoe, and you know what, it really wouldn't take too terribly much to tip the canoe, and it's not the water itself, although quite shallow. Those
Where do
crocs,
you run to?
Yeah, those crocs can run.
Yeah, and so we actually started, well, let's go back to paragliding. So in Pokhara, one of the trips was paragliding. I had never been before. It sounded like a great experience. There was a paragliding festival. I didn't know that Pokhara was a hotbed of paragliding activity. So there was an international paragliding festival. We got to go the next day. You paired up with an instructor in a tandem dive. And it's really as simple as once the wind catches the parachute, you walk off the edge of the hill and you're flying.
Yes. And you're flying, and you're flying, and you're gliding. We were fortunate, well, I don't know, fortunate, but one bit of experience we had was one of the eagles was diving at our parachute, and the pilot screamed quite loud at it to stop it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that didn't happen for my pilot. We just kept doing circles, went up, went down, really quiet, peaceful. Got a little bit nauseous, I'll be honest, with all the circling, trying to get those updrafts or thermals. But really good experience, highly recommend it. And then from there we had to take a local bus. That is not so much fun, to whitewater rafting.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
So the whitewater rafting, keep in mind that here we are, it's March. The rainy season will be starting within the next few weeks. So right now the water levels are relatively low. The experience that we had, our guide rated it as probably a number 2.
Class 2, yeah.
Class
2.
So
nothing that's going to...
Nothing earth-shattering or nothing, that's going to toss and throw you out of the boat. But we did have some soakers, that's for sure, and just a whole lot of fun.
But again, I don't think of Nepal whitewater rafting. Everest, certainly, hiking, trekking, but this showed the variety, the breadth and depth of Nepal. And then we got to Chitwan, another bus ride, lots of construction, lots of slow road work, lots of crazy
road
driving.
Transportation, just incredible.
So we got to Chitwan. It's known for an endangered species of rhino. The way you get in to see it typically is by elephant safari. So you're riding an elephant. Again, there's some ethical concerns about that, but one ethical or sustainable travel company noted that the elephant ride is a means of funding the rhino research, so it is going towards a better cause than most. We, again, because of the ethical reasons, we decided to pay a little bit extra so that we were the only people on our elephant rather than load it down. I am a fairly heavy person, and I've got the camera gear, and it was frankly just more comfortable. Walked around the jungle, saw some deer, saw some boar, nothing particularly special, but then there were rhinoceros. And the rhinoceros experience was kind of tainted because everybody goes to see the rhino. And so you've got a baby rhino, a mother rhino, minding their own business. And then once one guide sees it, all the guides come. And so it's surrounded by 12 elephants. And that would be one thing, but then the guides, they start instructing the elephants to tear up the trees. So you hear crunch, crunch, crunch. The elephants are using their trunk to tear up the trees. And so this is the least obtrusive way of seeing rhino in their natural environment. I disagree.
Yeah, it's not I mean, think of it from the rhino's perspective. There he is just chilling. in the jungle with his baby, with the calf, and all of a sudden, charging of 12, 15 elephants tearing up all the trees that are shading them. And
But after the elephant ride, after we saw our rhinos, we got to go on a canoe, a local canoe that is hollowed out from one giant tree. And we did luck out because we got to see a rhino eating along the shore of the river. And that was a completely different experience. It's rare, whereas with the elephant tours you're more likely to see one, but certainly a much more peaceful experience, much more natural experience, where we were just on one side of the river, the rhinos were on the other, nothing between us, no noise, nothing.
And what else?
Well, after the boat docked, well, it didn't dock, it pulled up on shore, and then started the jungle walk.
So we got off the boat and we walked into the jungle a little. Our guide said, okay, so now we're going to talk about jungle safety. And then he said during this walk, we could be attacked by a tiger, or a rhinoceros could charge at us, and this is what you do, you zigzag.
Yeah, he gave us the safety protocol. So if you see this animal, this is what you do. Eye contact, back away. If you see this type of animal, run zigzag. And he also did that before the canoe too, right? Like, our guide was very mellow, very soft-spoken, but he did say even before the canoe thing is like, just so you know, people have been attacked by tigers. There have been crocodile incidents, and it's their home. And so the jungle walk was a bit of a surprise. In South Africa, Milwani, we did mountain bike around a wild animal preserve, but there were no predators. So to walk around a jungle where you know that there's dangerous animals was exciting. Well, I don't know if exciting is the word. Privileged, exciting, exhilarating. You were in their environment, and I thought it was pretty cool.
And what did we see there?
Nothing.
We saw
Nothing.
Deer. No, we saw deer.
Oh,
we
deer.
saw wild boar.
I can see deer at home.
Yeah, wild boar.
So ultimately the jungle walk was an hour walk around the forest where we saw nothing.
Yeah.
But we could have been eaten.
We could have been eaten alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so Chitwan, that wraps up Chitwan. We were back to Kathmandu, and we'll talk about Kathmandu in the next video. Is there anything I missed?
Well, one of the, after our jungle walk, we did visit the animal sanctuary, the elephant sanctuary. And that is where they have the female elephants giving birth to their calves, and just helping them along the first few months before they're not returned to the wild.
And that's one of those things that
Yeah.
you could be, again, depending on the type of tourist you are, you could say, ooh, elephants, baby elephants, or you could also say elephants in chains. So, these are elephants that are captive. They're breeding for the purpose of preventing extinction, but they don't have a particularly free life. I did ask, they are let off their chains for 5-6 hours a day, where they go out into the wild to breed, or to graze, and then they return. But anyways, that's where they're breeding elephants. Also, on that note, we did see the elephant bathing area.
Yes.
So after our elephant safari, they take the elephants for a lunch break, essentially, and you have the opportunity to watch the owners bathe the elephants. If you are that kind of tourist where you want to get sprayed by an elephant, you can do that.
And it's good to see that they do actually get a break after their walk around the jungle with varying weights on their back that they are holding. Also, it's pretty cool because after their walk, what they do is they walk through the main road, so the main town, towards the bathing center, which is at the waterfront.
So there's no separate elephant path. They just walk down the road with the cars. So that's kind of cool, watching the elephants roam through town.
And they're quite calm, and I just know non-invasive, really. They're just chilling, just heading down to get their bath. Get their
different
drink on.
elephant owners behave different ways too, and I think if that's one thing to consider if you go, pick an elephant that seems to be in good health. All right.
Anything else?
No.